In this video, we're going to be installing a oil cooler for the motor oil. It's going to go right there, and there's already tabs for it. We're going to be using a Griffin oil cooler. This thing's huge, very thick, very heavy, nice upgraded fan on it. Here's the part number. So I'm actually not going to be using this stall fan, but I'm not using it because it's going to be on the front here, and I'm already running a fan back here. So I think it's going to get plenty of air as well because it's going to be right up front. I will also be using this improved racing. This is an oil bypass. So it's going to run up to the cooler and then into those ports and then go through the cooler, do its thing, and then come back in and then go through the motor. I don't really have space to put an oil filter on this, so this will be just filtering through the factory filter in the oil pan. It's not ideal, but if my motor blows up, getting stuff into the cooler is the least of my worries, so I think we'll be fine. So in this video we're going to be installing this stuff, so stay tuned. So this kit also came with Gasket. These are little plugs for the 1/8 inch holes that you can install like sensors or something in. Hardware. These are going to be the -8 fittings that came with it. I'm actually going to switch to -10s. So because the actual oil cooler is actually 1/2 inch pipe thread. So even though it's going to be going through smaller ports here, still gonna help flow more oil through it, so I'm just gonna do that. Probably gonna be a big debate whether -8 or -10 is really gonna make a difference considering how small these holes are. Normally you're gonna have your lines coming in here from factory. They're gonna be running the oil to your cooler that would be built into your radiator more than likely. So I didn't have a cooler that is a dual cooler, so I just plugged it. But now that I have my cooler, I have a big back order on them. So now that I have it, I'm just going to pull that off, and then we'll start installing the improved racing parts. Alright, so the next step is going to be pulling the front grill off so that I can mount the cooler to the front core supports. So literally that's all the bolts that hold this whole clip in. Pretty simple, I like it. Makes easy access. So we already built the holes and tabs onto this radiator support. We used a mock-up, and then the mock-up I had to give back, and then all of a sudden COVID happened, shortage on everything, so I had to wait, and now finally got my cooler. So if you see here, this is the mounting point, and there's no holes drilled, so we'll need to figure out where the holes are and then drill them out so we can get this mounted, and then we can start routing our lines and figuring out what fittings we need. Oh, I was a dumbass. I set up the camera, but I never hit record. Sick. Well, I got it all mounted up. It's all in there, bolted down. So now I will start routing, figuring out the routing and fittings I need for this. So really, there's only 2 ways to really go about this. Come from here and then turn into here. I'm really scared that this turn will kink the hose and starve the motor. The other way to go would be go down this way. But my concern here is I'd have to shoot it through this little hole right here. And I'm concerned this opening is rocks, debris is gonna puncture the line. So I might do a stainless line just to get away with that. But then again, all my steering's up here. If any of that breaks, I don't want to rip my oil out and then I have no steering and no oil. I think my best bet is going to be going this way. So we finally got our fittings for this oil cooler. We got our dash 10 fittings. These are the 90s that are going to go in the cooler. These are the dash 10 hoses and fittings. Came with 2 pieces of heat shrink that you just heat shrink the ends to block from dirt and oil and water and stuff getting on the inside. And then this is a Kevlar wrap because it will be going near the exhaust. But this is a nylon style hose. It's got some metal, stainless metal webbing in it to make it extra durable, nice and strong, flexible. So I'm gonna get this stuff. I just blew it out with the air just to get any leftover, just in case stuff in there, but nothing came out, so it looks like they cleaned it pretty good. I'm gonna get these fittings all installed and then I'll start mocking up the hose. I'll run it in there, make sure it all fits correctly, and then I'm gonna take it off and actually order some more heat shrink that will cover this whole entire hose. This hose is gonna be pretty hard to clean later because of the nylon style on it, and I also want it to be protected because it will be in the motor area. It's gonna be running up all over in here and then in the front. So I'm just gonna keep it protected so that will be easier to clean, service later. And the cool thing about this was all pre-made. I didn't have to make any of it. And I'll show you guys how I ordered this and where I ordered it from. So this is pretty cool. It's also not crimped, so if this is the wrong size, too long, I can cut it down. If I need to change anything later, I could always just undo the fittings and size it to where I want it to. Okay, so here we are. This is the sister company of Improved Racing. They are called anhosefitting.com by Raceflux. They have a lot of options on here, a lot of good stuff. You can get free shipping, 365-day returns. They have fittings, they have hoses, they have weld-on buns. They offer a lot of stuff. Heat shield, tools, everything. So we will go into custom-made lines, and then this is where I ordered my lines. What we use is a dash 10, so we'll scroll down to dash 10, which is right here. Click on that, and then you can scroll through here. There's a lot of very good info on turnaround time, warranty, pressure testing, how to measure, all very straightforward, easy to read. So that will help you order, but when you're ready, you'll click on customize and add to cart. And here's where you can pick from a lot of options. Once you figure out what size fitting you need, you'll click on it and then you'll add the quantity you want, and then they also show specs of stuff, which is pretty cool. So that's helpful as well if you're all like ever wondering about anything. So once you get your fittings figured out, you'll scroll down and then you will pick the length of hose you want. We use nylon, you'll pick that. You'll scroll down, pick the quantity that you want, and then you'll scroll down a little further, fire sleeve length if you want it, or you can click none. And then here you have little heat shrink pieces. If you do not already have some, you can order straight from them. And then at the bottom kind of goes over a summary of everything you've ordered, and then you add it to cart. It's pretty cool. Check them out, but let's get back in the video. So I got all the lines heat shrink, and I got the Kevlar sleeve installed. Fittings are tight. I had to tighten them outside the vehicle because I just don't have enough space in the truck with the headers right here. So but they're all ready to go in. So you're probably wondering where the rest of the install video is. Well, I stopped. I am not sponsored by Improved Racing. I am not sponsored by anfittings.com. So I just wanted to make sure that this product is actually good and it lasts, and I just don't want to offer something that's not good. So, but after there's probably 4 desert trips on this thing with a ton of dirt miles, this cooler, Griffin cooler, has been great. The fittings and the hoses have been good, so I am now ready to finish this install review video. So I'm happy with everything. Everything's worked out pretty good. As you can see, I never got to ordering the heat shield. Haven't got to that, unfortunately, but it doesn't look too bad. There's like a little section here that has some dirt in it, but it's not that big of a deal. It all pressure washed pretty easy, so it's actually probably just gonna stay like this since the cleanup has been easy so far. You know, it's just when you run this stuff, make sure that it's not gonna rub anything. As you can see here, I have a little hose that is protecting it from just chafing on this metal tube. Really check everything once your install is done, and after a couple desert trips, make sure nothing's moving, rubbing, anything like that. And these things, these hoses, fittings, everything will last. So we're under the truck here. You can see the hose there. It's holding up down here, so I'm very happy with that. We did have to switch a fitting because it was hitting the bottom of the block, but it wasn't a big deal. Just untwist it, cut the hose, so it was a new section because you don't want to re-crimp a crimped hose, if that makes sense. Ran it under here. It goes in between the front cross member and the motor mount. See here that I just ran it up and over. So it all came out pretty clean. I have not had any issues, like I said. Very happy with it. I would recommend it, so make sure you check out their website, and remember, I'm not sponsored, so this is not a paid video or anything like that. It's just my honest review, and I will definitely be ordering from them again. So I'll catch you guys in the next video, and hopefully you enjoyed this one.